So I have very well-educated guests here who are doing this. So yes, this is not showing the right way. Can we do something? Okay. So now for the reality check. So we have talked about how it should be, the theoretical, the framework of the law and all of that, all the nitty-gritty things that were more difficult than we may have expected, and also open the doors for even more questions. But let's what really important, which is, of course, how all of this is perceived by the users. Because even though both the Web Accessibility Directive and the European Accessibility Act are actually inner market directives, so they are focusing on kind of market perspective, of course, the real reason we are doing this and we are talking about this is that it should be good for all of us users with disabilities. So we have a very good speaker here with us today, a person who has some experiences from the cognitive part of accessibility. And I met her at during a research project that we are doing where we are training end users with disabilities into be accessibility experts and also know about their own rights. And it's my real fantastic pleasure to introduce to you Hanna Adolfsson, who will share her perspective on, I think it's e-commerce we are going to hear about.
Thank you. Can you hear me here? Thank you. Which one is okay? Hi, thank you. I talked to my husband at home that I was gonna go here and talk to you, and I was quite nervous. And he said, "Oh, that's gonna go great, honey. Just relax, focus on one or a few in this audience, and it's gonna go great." But I laughed and he laughed because we both know that my brain is not work. Do you hear me now? Thank you. No, perfect. I laughed and he laughed because my brain doesn't work like that. When I'm in a room like this, I see everything. I want to take a coffee. I see the snow in the outside. My focus is all over the place. But today, I'm here, and my name is Hanna, and I'm here to talk. I'm a user experience designer, but today I'm going to talk more about the personal experience. So their nervosity is going to get down. A few years ago, I was expecting the family's third child of many. I had some trouble with the cognitive part, and I got professional help. And not surprisingly, I got a diagnosis with the ADHD. And when I got through that, I managed to handle university degree, and bought a house, kids. We're four kids in the family. With that, I managed to, sorry. I think I have to cut.
Okay.
No, I'm going to do it. So I managed to yeah, the stage right now. So well, all these strategies work for my brains. Comes quite handy with talking about the user experience today. With a busy life, online shopping is both practical and efficient. I enjoy finding and selecting the best offer that I can get. And
do you want me to do the slides for you? If you can focus again.
I do. Thank you. I enjoy finding and selecting the best offer. I can easily spend an hour on collecting things in the digital shopping cart. And happy and content, it feels like I move to checkout and look for the easiest way to pay. And you would think that e-commerce website owner would have gotten this part right, as they really want me to buy something. But unfortunately, this is usually where the problem starts for me. If I'm requested to create an account, it breaks my flow. And to find information about what becoming a registered customer actually entails, if it would cost anything extra, requires me to subscribe something, or receive or privacy issues, such as how they handle my information, is often well hidden or at least cumbersome to find. If I do look for it, I immediately lose focus and will sometimes never go back to the full shopping cart. Continuing as a guest, I pay far too many alternatives when it comes to payment and shipping. And reading through and understanding all of them is frustrating and time-consuming, and may lose focus in the whole thing. Suspecting dark patterns, I try to distinguish how I can avoid being fooled. But why do I even have to make these decisions every time? My preferences and information should be possible to save in order to automate at least part of the process. I don't have any problem filling in forms, so even lengthy ones, as long as I understand what they should contain. But more often than not, I get confused by non-standardized labels and total lack of instruction. I can't possibly know how to dial in blank spaces. And I'm unable to guess that the postcode is required to be in a specific format. Don't make me think, please. And I think you heard this line before, and it's really getting on to the brain. So if I go through a neat stepwise flow with entering personal information in logical order, and not being disrupted by any extra potential bonus material, I will buy from you. But if I suffer through an entire friction-filled experiment, I won't. Complicated and user-unfriendly checkout experience are a hassle to everyone. But for me, who struggle with keeping focus, as you can see, the cognitive overload leads to a barrier that I can't overcome. And it's not only irritating, it prevents me from using the interface the way it was intended. It's not accessible. And I started along this way, it's not accessible. It's not accessible either. So being unable to finalize my online shopping, it could feel like a failure. That I'm not capable of carrying out actions that everyone else seems to handle. And that could make you feel sad, sometimes frustrated, but mostly it makes me stressed, and it could lead to uncertainties. And if that builds up for too long, I may even start trying. But I don't believe that I'm alone in this situation. And I'm convinced that some users, especially elderly or people who's not comfortable with technology, would have given up online shopping altogether. It's simply not worth the effort. Besides, we're constantly told about the risk for frauds, so no wonder people feel insecure. But there's still a physical world left, where you can buy, for example, groceries. And paying for these, I get two options. Being part of the modern world, where I can scan and handle my products myself, or queuing up and let the cashier do the job. And the first option, self-service, may work if I have one or two items. But as soon as I need to wait something, the problem starts. What's the name of this apples again? And Are they organized in logical order, alphabetic order, or are they grouped in another way? And what first of tomatoes again? I think I need some water. Formerly a berry, most often sold as a vegetable, but also okay to call it a fruit. So my thoughts are all over the place, and clicking frenetically through what seems like what seems like 1,000 alternatives may lose my focus and wanted to get out of the store. At the same time that I waged war against the machine, I have my family with me, the kids who are happily wanting to help me and wanting to ask questions as we tell them to. So I've learned the hard way that self-service is not for me. I queue up, wait for the cashier to do the job, and let someone who actually knows how to pay, scan, weight my groceries to do the job. Isn't that a beautiful innovation? Two human beings saying hi to each other. One getting paid to do the job he or she was trained to do, while the other one can have a conversation with the kids on how to best put the things in a bag, starting with the heavy things first, and then the vegetables, or was it a fruit? I've learned the hard way that I don't do the modern world part right now. I queue and I take a deep breath and I have focus. I meditate. I save some energy for the afternoon, where I can have energy to maybe do some user-friendly shopping or work out. But don't get me wrong, I love technology. It helps me so much in my everyday life. And the digital world is meant to be for me. I use it when I need structure, timekeeping, planning. But still, it's so hard for me to understand, handle, and get the best out of the system and interface as I want to, or is sometimes forced to use. And why is this still the case? Why are digital products and services made for humans, 2005, but not made for humans? I really think they should be. And I hope that all of you in the audience will do your best to make sure that they are. Thank you. And thank you for handling my nervosity. Thank you. Thanks.
You get the special fika with hearts.
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for doing this, and thank you for overcoming. I told you this crew is nice and the audience is really good. So I don't know if you are open to any questions, Hanna. Is it okay if I leave if somebody has a question?
This is the most important part. Yeah.
Yes. So do we have any questions? Yes, we have a question there. We have a microphone, please?
Hi, my name is Sigbjørn from the Norwegian Digitalization Agency, and thank you for continuing.
Yeah.
It was very inspiring. Do you have any, WCAG, etc., have not focused enough on cognitive issues? Do you have any, if you could decide, what requirements would you add on to make it easier for people with cognitive challenges?
Yeah, thank you. Well, I think it's different parts, but one of them is talking to each other. But if we look at the device, step by step is the thing for me. So I need to do stepwise, not have any focus all over the place. So one thing in the time. And and guide. So copy is one of the things. But then I think it's really important that we educate each other. We talk at the coffee place, we talk at the dining table at home. But mostly I think that we have to educate each other and educate the persons that we hire. So was that answer to your question? Yeah.
I think Sigrun wanted the full list of 200 requirements that we should add to the standard, but we don't really have time for that now. I know you know them by heart, but it's that's kind of a big question. We have another question here. Please, Kitty's running. Yeah. Please state your name.
Hi, I'm Melissa. I'm working as a consultant with e-commerce platforms. I can relate big time to your experience, but it got me thinking, and I would like to hear your point of view in this. When we get stuck at the cart and we realize that we need a better user experience, what do you think would be a good way to open that conversation? Because a lot of times I get pinged by this like chatbot down at the bottom, and I'm like, I don't want to go through all that either, because usually it's more involved than just putting feedback in the chatbot. But can you think of ways that we can like start a dialogue between the service and the customer at the point where they're stuck?
That's a really good question. And I think about that, especially when I work in the area as well, because we want the communication, we want the both sides. Sometimes I need help, but then I want to have that help quick, but I don't want to be disrupted. So how do you do? I don't really know, but try with the audience, try with the users. So have a group with users that you can test with, preferably many, but lift the phone and call someone that you know struggle with this type, or call a brukarorganisation.
The disabled persons organization?
Yeah. So, and have teams that can do the testing. If you don't have that, talk to your colleagues. Or go to yourself. What would be the best thing? But maybe alternatives is always the best thing for me. So if I can choose to put the thing away, no, thank you. Now I know where you are. Thank you. You're in the corner, but don't show up all the time, because I did shut you down. So don't disturb me. So
let the user decide. I think is the kind of overall recommendation. So do we have any other? Oh, here is my microphone carrier. Do we have any more questions in the room?
Bring it on.
Yeah, we had one question from the online chat, if I can remember it correctly. So that is, how did you dare continue when you felt that you couldn't continue? How did you get the courage to move on?
Yeah, because this is the funny thing. I never thought that this would happen. And now I see you, and it's all good. But in the beginning, I felt like I faded away, like it was in a fake room or something. And I did not prepare for that. So preparation is key, and the rest of it. So if I do it again now I'm it feels better.
Yeah, we should do the same event tomorrow, and all the speakers will be perfect. Yeah, that's good.
So that's a good idea. One up, and we can do it online. Courage and just to dare to do things and communicate. So physical, what do you call it? Physical. Fysisk... Nej, det var inget. Vi släpper det. Thank you.
Okay, the physical presence in the room to our...
Yeah, that's and what do you call it in Sweden? I'll get to that.
Okay.
Yeah,
we have
I see the name. I see the word in the head, but I can't read it.
Okay. Super. Thank you very much, Hanna, for sharing your experiences with us. And now I think everyone working... No, we do have a question here, just when I'm trying to wrap up. Yeah. So you're very welcome to pose your question.
And don't feel, if you see me in the room outside, please come, ask me questions, talk to me.
I'm sorry, it took me a bit of time to raise my hand. I'm Vladimir. I work in Nordic Finance. And I have one question. I have a personal experience that... we had to implement quite difficult forms, for example, or cognitive-heavy forms, and we were forced because of the compliance or the laws that we need to meet. So I'm curious, and maybe this is not I'm just unknown of it, but are there any discussions between people who might have a cognitive problem with the forms or with the heavy complexity of the requirements that coming from compliance in I don't know, in economic industry or wherever, or government, that there is need to simplify the things or provide some more helpful approach for this kind of situations?
Thank you. Good question. Well, I think I don't have, for me, I don't have problem filling in forms that takes 2 hours if that's required. But I need to know what the steps are, and I need to have clear instructions. So copy is a really good thing. And of course, we can't get away from all the information that should be in a format. But do it stepwise. It's like if you go into this place and you have hundreds of slides with only text, that's gonna be too much. So what we would do, we have a slide with just a few things all the way. So I think that's one thing. And again, test, do the testing, but tell the users what it's gonna contain and how long time it's gonna take. But don't lie then, because if you say that it takes 2 minutes, up to 5 or 7, I'm gonna go. So but that's a trust issue thing as well. So.
I think to your question, I think also forms are something that most user groups struggle with, not only people with cognitive impairments, but I think that is what we see in all the user testing and also in this project, that it doesn't matter if it's from an assistive technology, more technical way, or the way the visual perception or just understanding the form. So it seems like forms are one big problem from an accessibility and I think usability point of view. So that's one thing. And I know that there's also discussions more on policy level on that, but the kind of the conflict between legal people when it comes to compliance in that respect, like finance and so on, and kind of accessibility needs, that's a fight that we usually lose, unfortunately. Okay, so let's move into lunch, but let's give Hanna another applause, and thank you very much for being here with us.